In tonight's Primetime Focus, as millions of families celebrate Father's Day today, others spent it completely fractured, separated due to the Trump administration's mass deportation agenda. This is 30-year-old Jose Contreras, a DACA recipient who was detained and deported to Honduras after receiving a letter instructing him to report to immigration authorities. He was eventually returned to the United States, held in a detention facility, and then released last month. But by then, the moment that he had waited for was gone. While detained, he missed the birth of his son, Mateo, who is now nearly 4 months old. And Jose's story is not unique. You'll remember Mahmoud Khalil, the pro-Palestinian activist who missed the birth of his first son while he was in detention, even after pleading with immigration officials for a temporary release to be there at the birth. And then there's Meher Tarabishi, whose disabled son died while he remained in ICE custody. Federal officials also barred him from going to his son's funeral. These stories are barely just scratching the surface when it comes to all the families that have been impacted by this administration's mass deportation agenda. A recent report by the Brookings Institute estimates that the total number of children affected by parental detention is around 205,000. The number of U.S. citizens, children affected by this, is about 145,000. Jose Contreras joins us now. Jose, it's great to have you with us, and I'm so sorry this has happened to you. But first of all, happy Father's Day. Tell me, what was it like just, the first time holding your son when you were able to be reunited with your newborn after 4 months and hearing about it and then seeing your son, Mateo?
It was one of the most beautiful moments of my life. It's exactly why I continue to do what I do. We continue to push forward with faith, with dignity, with resilience, with perseverance, which are pretty much the American values we've learned ever since we arrived in this country.
Hi, Jose. You've been renewing your DACA status regularly since 2014. Has it become harder under the Trump administration? Could you just explain to our viewers what it means to have DACA status?
Having DACA gives us wings. It allows us to be a part of the system. It allows us to get integrated into the community. Every 2 years, we have to check in. And essentially run background checks across different platforms from the government. So what that means for us is we run this cycle, right, that usual citizens don't usually have to go through, and pretty much means that our life is in this constant surveillance. So you have to take into consideration setting the example of living life responsibly.
Can you talk us through what it was like to be separated from your wife as she was giving birth, as you couldn't be there for this very important moment in your family's lives? What was that like for you?
So for once, imagine, right, the agony of being torn apart from the life you know, right? Then handcuffed, placed on a plane, dropped off in a country you don't know, you barely remember. So it's this great sense of grief and powerlessness. We can get robbed of foundational moments with our families. They pretty much, you could never reclaim them. So it's a forced disconnection, and there's a lingering void that's left behind in our hearts.
Jose, I know things are still very challenging for you, and as I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, we understand that you lost your job while you were detained, and I'm wondering if you can talk to us about how that has complicated things for you and the fear, you're living in fear of potentially being deported again. What is that like? How are you coping with that dual reality?
It's hard because it's something that, I like to tell my former boss I wasn't fired and I didn't quit. So it's something that now it affects me financially. My economies, my family's financial status is in shambles. So we're just trying to recuperate, get everything back on track. And, I'm really grateful for the second chance of being able to be here once again in order to get my life back together.
What reason did immigration agents give for why you were being arrested and detained, given that you had DACA protections?
Yeah, so my DACA protections were specifically for, so that they wouldn't have to detain me and deport me once again. It's an order of removal from 2004. So, I've had DACA for more than a decade now. And like I said, every 2 years we have to check in. So the biggest question is, why now?
So you're saying that the government, basically, you were following the rules. The government took you. They spent money to do so. They took you to a place where you had no background and had not lived in ages and incurred cost and then had to come back. Do you have any just spitball estimate of how much effort, how much money this cost and was taxpayer dollars to take you and then to ship you to Honduras, even though you were playing by the rules?
Yeah, so my journey is only a testament, right? That even if we adhere to the rules, the compliance that we have to follow is still no guarantee against a system that could still break its promise. Financial wise, I am not sure how much Homeland Security has invested into this whole ordeal. So I couldn't even get a number. I don't know. I don't have a perfect answer for you.
No, I just was marveling at the sheer wastefulness of it all and the human cost. And want to wish you a happy Father's Day on this day. And I'm glad that now you're with your son. Jose Contreras, thank you for being with us tonight.
Absolutely. Thank you. Have a happy Father's Day.
Right.
Thank you.